A woman finds her ex-boyfriend living in her attic. A South Carolina woman known only as Tracy discovered her ex, only a few weeks out of jail. Living in her attic in 2012, Tracy broke up with the guy 12 years before he showed up in her house and just before he went to prison. While in prison, he wrote to her constantly. After hearing strange sounds, Tracy saw insulation and even nails fall from the ceiling. Prompting her nephew to investigate, he discovered a man sleeping inside the heating unit in Tracy's attic. The secret house guest had filled fast food cups with his waste, and, even more disturbingly, positioned himself near a vent in the ceiling of the master bedroom so he could watch her sleep. He immediately fled. Based on his release from prison, police estimate he was living upstairs for under 2 weeks. A University of North Carolina student found a man living in her closet and wearing her clothes. When Maddie, a junior at the University of North Carolina at Greensboro, realized that pieces of her wardrobe mysteriously vanished, she and her roommates blamed it on a ghost. She found handprints left on the bathroom wall. And on February 2, 2019, she discovered a man living in her closet and wearing her clothes. I just hear rattling in my closet. It sounded like a raccoon in my closet, the student told Fox 8. I'm like, who's there? And somebody answers me. He's like, oh, my name is Drew. I open the door and he's in there wearing all of my clothes, my socks, my shoes, and he has a book bag full of my clothes. Police identified the man as 30-year-old Andrew Swafford. Maddie talked to Swafford as she waited for her boyfriend and authorities to arrive. He continued to try on her clothes and commented on how she was really pretty. Swafford was arrested and put under a $26,000 bond. He faces 14 felony charges, including larceny and identity theft. Japanese man finds woman living in his cupboard. An unnamed Fukuoka, Japan resident began to suspect he was being repeatedly robbed in May 2008 when his food began disappearing from his home. He set up security cameras and was shocked to discover that a strange woman living in his cupboard and stealing his food. It was later revealed the woman had been living undetected in the man's apartment for over a year. A stranger claims to have permission to live in man's attic. Davis Wallman had no idea what he'd find when he began investigating the series of strange noises upstairs in his Green Lake. Wow, in July 2016, when he finally found the source of the noise in his upstairs office, he tried to open the door. The room was completely locked, so Wallman had to knock on a door in his own house. Finally, a strange woman with dark hair answered. The startled homeowner didn't know what to do. He asked the woman how she got into the Green Lake property, and she claimed that a man named Jimmy gave her permission to move into the dwelling. Wallman called local police to handle the situation. But the strange house guest escaped before authorities could question her. A man secretly lives underneath woman's home. A retired 73-year-old woman living in Washington state received shocking news in January 2013 when a repairman told her a man had been living in a crawl space under her house for an indeterminate period of time. While completely taken aback by the news, it did explain the strange smell she occasionally caught wind of, believed to be marijuana or meth her secret tenant smoked. Reverse. Santa steals from family, wears their clothes, hides in attic over Christmas. In 2008, on the day after Christmas, a Wilkes Barre woman discovered a man living in her attic, periodically helping himself to her family's food, clothes, and possessions. She states, when he came down from the attic, he was wearing my daughter's pants and my sweatshirt and sneakers. The man also helped himself to a computer and an iPod. He kept a list of everything he took, titling it his Christmas list. Basically, the guy was a reverse Santa. He got the sneaking into the house bit, right, but took, rather than gave, to a family at Christmas. Video shows squatter emerging from crawl space. It's hard to tell whether this case of unlawful squatting is a hoax. The video in question was posted to YouTube in December 2009, roughly a year after the nearly identical story of a Japanese man discovering a homeless woman living in his cupboard. What's more, most news coverage of the story comes from viral blogs, which more or less rehash the clip. If it were real, surely it would have shown up on legit news services. Nevertheless, the grainy night vision footage, whether faked or not, is seriously creepy, as it seems to show the uninvited guest shimmying down from a crawl space, eating and drinking from the fridge, and urinating in his sink. Kids find secret staircase leading to squatter's nest. When 15-year-old Imgur Yusutubada Brownie posted a series of photos in November 2013, apparently showing a secret spiral staircase behind a bookshelf, the internet grabbed hold of the story. Where did the staircase lead? To a secret room where, it would appear, a squatter had taken temporary residence, leaving behind candy wrappers and creepy dolls. Could it be another? A stranger had been inconspicuously living in this quaint suburban home. More likely, the whole thing was a viral hoax. But where's the fun in that? Ohio State University students have an unknown roommate. Ohio State University engineering students made a startling discovery in September 2013 when they found a locker in the basement of their house that led to a secret cozy pad, complete with textbooks, a stereo, and photographs on the wall. The room was inhabited by Jeremy, a complete stranger to the other residents of the house. Turned out, Jeremy's cousin lived in the house the semester before, and the realty company did not change the locks after the previous tenants moved out. As Jeremy still had a key to the building, he came and went as he pleased. He was even caught by one of the current residents, but merely pretended to be one of the other tenants in the building. A 3-story house with separate entrances for each floor. The matter was resolved peacefully. Jeremy simply vacated his sweet secret room. Still, the tenants have no idea how many keys to their home might be floating around town. Career crook hides out in Toys Us and Circuit City. This is probably the greatest story you'll hear all day. It has all the makings of a fantastic movie, and its anti-hero, seasoned criminal Jeffrey Manchester, aka Roofman, was both hated and revered by the police, who captured him. It began in 2005, when Manchester, serving a 45-year sentence for robbery, became the first inmate to ever escape the Brown Creek Correctional Institution in Polkton. As his method of escape, hiding in a laundry truck. Roofman landed in Charlotte, where he created a new identity. John, an unassuming church-going man who told his congregation he had a secret government job to avoid talking about work. Manchester struck up a romantic relationship with a local woman, giving gifts to her and her children gifts, even spending holidays with them. But Manchester's life was anything but normal. In addition to being a criminal on the lam, he was secretly living inside the local Toys R Us, fashioning a lair within a cubbyhole in the bicycle department. There, he subsisted on baby food and rode bikes around the store to keep himself fit. He also apparently changed employees' schedules, just for the fun of it. When the Christmas shopping season heated up, Manchester dug his way through the Toys R Us US wall and gained access to an abandoned Circuit City, where he improved his digs by building a cubicle from old drywall slabs. He hung up posters and decorated the room with action figures, while watching pilfered DVDs on a pilfered DV player. But a crook can't lay dormant for long, and Manchester began plotting his next big score. Robbing the toys his use. He'd called home for last 6 months. First, Roofman robbed a pawn shop to get a gun, then stole a baby monitor cam from the store so he could better case the joint. Things took a turn for the worse during his robbery, as 2 employees escaped undetected and called the police. This led to a chase, during which Manchester attempted to evade capture by ducking back into his cubby. The pursuing officers, however, saw Manchester enter his secret passageway, blowing the lid on his living quarters. The story doesn't end there. However, Manchester managed to escape the cops. He went on to torch a dentist's office in the middle of the night because it was revealed he'd had dental work done there a week prior and hoped to destroy the evidence. The cops were only able to catch Manchester after they convinced his girlfriend to set him up by inviting him over. He complied, aiming to see her one last time before disappearing, and was promptly arrested. Manchester had no hard feelings for the woman. He completely understood her position and encouraged her to pursue her dreams before the police whisked him back to jail. Man living above mall restaurant falls through the ceiling. A man who living in the rafters above Yard House, a restaurant in the 16th Street Mall in Denver, blew his cover in December 2014 when he fell through the ceiling into the restaurant. Police were called, and upon arrival, saw the man moving through an opening in the wall for water pipes and the HVAC system. He somehow damaged one of the pipes, causing a massive flood in the Yard House and adjoining Sheraton Hotel, then became trapped in the walls. Firefighters used a chainsaw to extract him, and he was promptly arrested. A woman finds a strange family's pets wandering her home. Catherine Lang knew something was wrong when she noticed a dog and cat wandering around her recently purchased South Carolina property in January 2018. Lang just wanted to check on the pipes of the home before moving in, but she discovered something far more sinister. A family had taken up residence in the place she purchased. Tigra Shepherd, a Kentucky transplant, thought she bought the house from a reputable landlord, but in fact she was scammed. Shepherd found the furnished home online for $850 a month. It was posted by a woman named Rosie Ruggles. The con victim spent $1,150 on the fake lease and was told to use the unlocked back door during the move. In process, a schedule has been set for Shepherd to move out, and Lang has decided to still inhabit the property. Entrepreneur hides out at AOL offices for months. You have to hand it to Eric Simon, founder of tech startup ClassConnect, a company devoted to revolutionizing education methods in the U.S. He devised an ingenious solution to his food, shelter, and cash flow concerns. What was this solution? He squatted in the Palo Alto Owl offices for about 2 months, sleeping, eating company food, and working out and showering in the on-site gym. How'd he get in there in the first place? As it turns out, Simon won a competition hosted at the AOL office and established an incubator for his startup there. From this, he got a badge granting access to the building. After the contest was over and the prize money gone, Simon discovered his badge still worked, because many of the employees recognized him from the days he spent there during the competition. Everyone just assumed he was supposed to be there and left him alone. Simon was finally discovered by a security guard in May 2012 and booted while his badge was taken away. However, he continued to drop by the AOL office daily, where he's granted access to his incubator room, despite the program expiring.